Join me as I spend the night in a Christmas cabin that's about to turn into a horror scene. Let's get started with a cold wind howls through the trees, snow falling in eerie silence. A voice whispers, "They say Christmas cabins are meant for joy, family, and warmth. But what if the laughter fades into screams? What happens when holiday cheer turns into a nightmare? Flashes of newspaper clippings, family disappears without a trace. Cabin horror. No survivors appear on screen before the scene cuts to black. The scene opens on a picturesque Christmas cabin glowing warmly against the frozen wilderness. Inside, a fire crackles, presents are stacked under the tree, and a family shares laughter over steaming mugs of cocoa. But outside, something watches. Something waits. A low droning hum plays as the camera shifts to reveal deep footprints in the snow, leading to the door, but not away. The family settles in for their perfect holiday retreat, but subtle things feel off. The front door is ajar in the morning, though they swore it was locked. Ornaments fall from the tree, shattering in patterns that don't make sense. The radio crackles, distorting classic carols into whispers of something unintelligible. Tension builds as they brush off the strange occurrences, but then the knocking begins. Soft at first, then relentless. From inside the house, the atmosphere thickens with unease. Shadows shift in the corners, yet when they turn, nothing is there. At night, they hear footsteps on the roof, slow, deliberate, like someone dragging heavy boots across the shingles. The father arms himself with a fire poker, the mother checks the children. The eldest sibling whispers, "Did you hear that?" But what they don't realize is they're no longer alone. A chilling discovery is made: a single Christmas card placed on the mantle, written in shaky red ink, "Let me in." The lights flicker and die. The family huddles in the center of the room as the temperature plummets. The knocking stops, replaced by scratching from inside the walls. Then a guttural breath behind them. The camera slowly turns as a towering figure emerges from the shadows, wearing a distorted, cracked porcelain Santa mask. In its gloved hands, it clutches a blood-stained stocking. The room erupts into screams. The screen cuts to black, the echoes of terror lingering. A final shot. The cabin silent once more. The only sign of life, a single flickering Christmas light in the window. A whisper lingers in the cold air. "Merry Christmas, see you next year." The video ends with eerie flickering text. Have you ever experienced a holiday horror? Share your chilling stories in the comments below, and don't watch alone. Then a recommendation. If you enjoyed this nightmare, check out our next horror story. If you dare. Christmas is a time of joy, warmth, and family gatherings. But for the Holloway family, their festive getaway turned into an unspeakable nightmare. In December 2018, the Holloways embarked on a retreat to a secluded cabin deep in the woods of Montana. What should have been a holiday filled with love and laughter became a case that would haunt the small town of Everbrook for years to come. The Holloways, Michael, his wife Sarah, their teenage children Emily and Noah, and Michael's brother David, planned their holiday meticulously. Michael, a software engineer, had been working overtime, and Sarah, a schoolteacher, wanted a break from city life. The cabin, owned by an old friend of Michael's, was the perfect escape. It was far enough from civilization to promise peace, but close enough to a small town to allow supply runs. But there was something unsettling about the cabin from the moment they arrived. On the first night, as the family settled in, Emily swore she saw a shadow outside her window. Noah teased her, blaming her overactive imagination. However, when David went outside to check, he found footprints in the snow leading to the tree line. Footprints that didn't belong to any of them. Michael dismissed it as a passing hunter, or a lost traveler. But as the wind howled and the cold intensified, an eerie feeling settled over the cabin. Something was watching them. On the second night, things escalated. The family was awakened by a loud banging noise. When Michael grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside, he found their car doors wide open. Sarah, frightened, insisted they call the police, but with no cell reception in the area, they were isolated. In the morning, they found deep scratches on the wooden porch, and something even more terrifying. David's hunting knife was missing from the kitchen. The next evening, the family decided to stay together, but Emily, feeling restless, took a short walk around the cabin against her parents' warnings. Minutes passed, then an hour. She didn't return. Panic set in. They searched with flashlights, calling her name, but the only answer was the chilling silence of the forest. As they ventured deeper, they found Emily's scarf hanging from a low branch, as if placed there deliberately. While searching for Emily, Michael and Sarah stumbled upon an abandoned shed hidden beneath the thick foliage. Inside, they found old newspaper clippings and police reports. The articles told of a man named Isaac Grady, a former owner of the cabin, who had mysteriously vanished years ago. Rumors swirled that he had been involved in something sinister before disappearing. As Michael flipped through the pages, one particular article made his blood run cold. It described a series of disappearances of people who had stayed at the cabin. The pattern was eerily similar to their current predicament. Desperate and terrified, the family split up to search the area. David, armed with a rifle, followed a trail of footprints that led into the woods. Hours later, he hadn't returned. Meanwhile, Michael and Sarah found something even more disturbing. Emily's phone, screen cracked, lying in the snow with a single video recording. When they played it, they saw Emily whispering frantically into the camera, her face pale with terror. "Someone's watching us," she said before the video cut out. As night fell, the remaining family members barricaded themselves inside the cabin. The sound of footsteps circled the house, followed by a faint knocking, slow and deliberate. Then the power cut out. Michael gripped a fire poker as Sarah clutched Noah, both too frightened to breathe. Suddenly, a window shattered. A dark figure loomed in the moonlight. In the chaos, Sarah and Noah managed to flee into the woods. Michael stayed behind, determined to protect his family. As he confronted the intruder, he realized the horrifying truth. The attacker was wearing a mask, but when it was ripped away, the face beneath was familiar. David had lured the family to the cabin under false pretenses. His mind had long been unraveling, and his obsession with the cabin's dark past had consumed him. He had orchestrated the entire nightmare, feeding on their fear. Emily had been locked in the abandoned shed, barely conscious when Sarah and Noah found her. But David wasn't finished yet. Michael fought against his brother, the struggle violent and desperate. Just as David gained the upper hand, Sarah appeared, swinging an axe. It ended with David collapsing onto the snow-covered ground, his reign of terror finally over. The Holloway family survived, but they would never be the same. The police uncovered David's hidden journals, revealing his obsession with the cabin's previous victims. The cabin was burned down by the town months later, its cursed history erased, but the legend of that Christmas horror remained, a chilling tale whispered by the locals of Everbrook.